Hello everyone, we are glad to have you back. While Episode 5 of Masters of the Air delves into one of the worst missions the 100th Bomb Group experienced during the spring and summer of 1943, it has already covered a few of the group's unfortunate operations. The Munster Raid, carried out on October 10, 1943, was an operation conducted by 8th Force, which included the 100th Bomb Group. Despite having a typical beginning, the expedition ended disastrously. Though there were notable losses in every squadron, the 100th was the worst. Only one of the 13 planes that made the entire trip to Munster made it back. The Munster Raid was the subject in Episode 5 of Masters of the Air, which is hardly surprising. It was an unusual operation that marked a shift in the history of the 100th Bomb Group. Major Harry Crosby is promoted to Group Navigator in the Munster Raid plot of Masters of the Air, which probably saves his life. Major John Egan jumps headfirst into this next operation, which ends in treacherous waters, while also dealing with the sudden abduction of his best friend, Gale Cleven. Notably, though, Rosie Rosenthal sticks out as the lone pilot that made it back to Thorpe Abbotts. One crucial fact that helps to explain the Munster Raid is that it took place during the 8th Air Force's Black Week. There was a startling surge in both missions and losses for the 8th Air Force between October 7 and October 14, 1943. Specifically, the men flew multiple missions in a row this week that left numerous troops missing in action or died in battle. The fact that the Munster Raid was the third raid in as many days probably contributed to the mission's dismal performance. The troops of the 100th Bomb Group were worn out by October 10. The Munster Raid also suffered from a shortage of supplies. The 100th was not really prepared to fly the mission because it was their third flight in a row. The 100th only sent out 17 planes, instead of the standard squadron consisting of 20 to 21 aircraft. After flying the Bremen mission the day before, this was all they had left. Not only that, but 4 of those planes experienced mechanical issues, forcing them to return to base. As such, serious issues with the Munster Raid existed even prior to the 100th's departure from the tarmac. The Munster Raid was unique among air raids, not simply because of the fatigue and casualties suffered by the 8th Air Force. Furthermore, it was a kind of assignment that the 100th had never encountered before. During the spring and summer of 1943, the 100th were mostly sent to bomb factories on missions. For instance, the men were sent over a German ball-bearing factory by the Regensburg mission. But Munster was not like that. The Munster Raid's goal was a nearby cathedral in the city center. The men of the 100th were divided on the fact that the Munster Raid had occurred so close to civilian areas. Some soldiers were keen to eliminate the railroad workers who gave Nazi Germany permission to operate, while others took great satisfaction in having never harmed an innocent person, because the expedition would be a kind of revenge for losing Gale Cleven in the Bremen expedition the day before. Major John Egan in particular was in favor of it. In any case, the 100th launched the Munster Raid, successfully bombarding the city with bombs. German aircraft ultimately proved to be the nail in the coffin for the 100th and the remainder of the 8th Air Force. German aircraft frequently attacked American forces during missions, but the Munster Raid was unique. During the Munster Raid, the Germans had hundreds of planes ready to strike the U.S. Army Air Forces. This sheer number was overpowering. The air forces were swiftly taken out by the Germans. About 350 German aircraft were reportedly involved in the Munster Raid. The Munster Raid was ultimately brought down by the German jets. The 100th were the most susceptible since they were the lowest in the formation. In addition, the German contribution to the Munster Raid is still recognized today. According to the National World War II Museum, Rodney Snow of the 95th recalled, "The enemy fighters were concentrated in numbers such as we had not seen on any of my crew's 20 previous missions." Masters of the Air was successful in illustrating the Munster Raid's numerous issues and horrifying casualties in this way. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.